Hi friends, Miss Cindy here from Mahopac Public Library with a cool craft. Today's Wednesday Cool Craft Day. So today I'm going to show you how to work with polymer clay. It goes by several names, brand names like Sculpey or Fimo clay. So this is just kind of a generic polymer clay. And we're going to be making a necklace that you could use as a essential oil diffuser. So it has a little imprint on it, and if you wanted to, you could rub some essential oils on here, and then the scent of it would almost be like a perfume, although it's like a little more gentle than a perfume. So it gives a nice little scent. And I'll show you how to do a couple of other techniques like marbling and bead making, and then you can string them on this thread. It's actually like a waxed thread that you can use as a necklace. So when you come to pick up your crafts, these crafts will be available, the materials will be available in the adult garden on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you can't come during those hours and you still would like to pick up your materials, you could call the library and we could do like a drive up pickup, a curbside pickup for you. We could schedule that in. So what you would be getting in your bag of materials is a small baggie with several different pieces of colored polymer clay. So you'll have a choice of different colors you want to use, and you can actually mix the colors. They do blend, and I'll explain how to do the marbling. You'll also have a little piece of a straw, and this is great for making the holes that you need to string it. And then you'll have a couple of pieces of string, and you will also have a little backpack clip, a little swivel clip, in case you don't want to use it as a necklace. You can string it and tie it to the strap of your backpack or a zipper pull or whatever you want to use it for. So that's what will be in your kit. So the first thing you will need to do with your polymer clay is to condition it. And by condition it, all you're doing is really squishing it and softening it and warming it up. Because when you flatten it out, when it's well conditioned, it will flatten out nice and smoothly. If you're using it and it's kind of cold and a little bit more stiff, you'll get little cracks in it, and you don't want to do that. So you want to just squish it in your fingers there until it softens up a little bit and gets a little bit warm. So just for a few minutes. It's a good exercise for finger strengthening. So when you're done with that, and it feels pretty warm and pliable, just roll it into a ball and make it nice and smooth. And then for these two, I made them, you can decide if you want to make it round, if you want to make it oval or teardrop shape, and you can sort of flatten it with your fingers to get the beginning of the shape that you want. So there it is. It's pretty much a little bit of an oval, and you can just keep flattening it that way. If you have like a little simple rolling pin or a dowel, you could even use a marker. Markers work great, and you just roll it out into the shape that you want. So this one is, you know, kind of a circle-ish, maybe a little bit more of an oval. You could also, if you have a larger piece and you want to cut more than one, you could use little cookie cutters or even a cap from a milk jug or another, like a Gatorade bottle, something like that, and you can cut that shape out. That would work well as like a cookie cutter. Even if you have shaped cookie cutters like heart shapes or diamond shapes, if you want to use those, you could do that too. So, there it is, nice and flat. You want to roll it to maybe 1/4 of an inch or maybe 1/8 of an inch or a little less than 1/4 of an inch, and however thick you like your necklace to be. And then there's a couple of different ways you can make an impression on it. If you have any rubber stamps like these, this is very simple fleur-de-lis, and actually maybe I'll show you how some of these look. This one, I don't know if you can see there, it has a little bit of a filigree and a heart in the middle. It was done with this stamp. So if you have any stamps at home, you can use those, and I'll show you how. This is, of course, it's pretty easy. You just want to center it right on there and just give a good press into it, and there's your little impression of the fleur-de-lis. So that's one way to do it. If you don't have rubber stamps, which many of you probably won't, and if you like, you know, these kind of more natural looks, I'm going to flatten it out again, and I'll show you how you can collect. Just go out in your yard and look for some leaves or little small flowers, even grass. I've used even grass makes a real pretty impression. So these are actually the seeds from the heads of grass. If you haven't mowed in a while, you might see some of these sticking up. There's a tree called arborvitae that has these little flat kind of branches. Those make a really nice impression. I think that's what I'll use today. This one, I used these little purple, they're kind of little flowers that you may see there. It's a weed. You'll probably see this growing either in your lawn or in other spots, and you can use that. Anything you can find that would make a nice impression. So I'm going to try this arborvitae. Actually, I think I like the shape of this one better. So you could use your fingers to go ahead and press that in there, but it does leave fingerprints, so you may want to go ahead and whatever you decided to use as a roller, like this marker, roll right over the leaf or whatever it is you're using and let it get right embedded into the clay there. Make a nice deep impression. And then when you pull it out, there you go. And you'll have a nice deep impression of that, that leaf or whatever you're using. So there you go. All right, now we do need to put a hole through that, and a straw is included in your kit. So I'm going to show you how to do that with the straw. It's very, very simple. Just decide where do you want to hang it from. And actually, I think I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to hang it from right up here. So I'm just going to press my straw in there, and the clay is going to probably stay in your straw, but now you have a nice hole for hanging this necklace. So what you will need to do now is bake this. And for every 1/4 inch thickness, you want to bake it for 15 minutes at 275 degrees. So check with your parents about using the oven. You probably want to put it on a piece of foil or parchment. I believe we're including a small sheet of parchment, so you can put it on a little pan, put it on the parchment first, and then, as I said, it's about 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch thickness. So this is a little less than that, so you could probably get away with 10 minutes, but that will harden it up nice and hard. So another technique you can use, let's say you wanted to make some beads to go with your necklace, and you do have some choice of colors. So another thing you can do, and I'm going to start conditioning this clay while I'm talking, is marble the clay. And that's kind of a swirled result. It's this one I use black and white and gray, and so you have that nice swirling going on in there, and you could use that to make a bead, and that's also what I did on this one. So there's the nice swirls in the marbling. So the way you do that after your clay is conditioned, you roll it out into a long skinny snake. So these are techniques you probably used in elementary school, and who knew you could still use them and make something really cool like a marble bead. So roll them out into skinny snakes and then twist it together. And it's really fun to do this. So go ahead and twist. And as you can see, as it's twisting, the little strands of the clay are getting thinner and thinner. And then you can even double it over on itself and twist it again, and then kind of squish it around a little bit, roll it out into a snake again, and twist it some more, and then double it over again, and do that several times until you get the marbling effect that you want. And the more you do, the more of those swirls you will see. If you keep going, what will happen is it will just turn, like this would turn into a pale violet. It would just blend all the way together, and you wouldn't see those stripes anymore. So get it to a point where you like the amount of marbling and swirling that you have, and then you can roll it into the shape you want your bead to be. And of course, a nice round bead is probably the easiest thing to do. So I'm going to just roll this into a ball. This one I made into more of a log shape. If you like a longer shape, you probably could do a cube if you sat there and flattened out the sides. What does happen with the Sculpey clay, this type of clay, it will be soft, and if you do try and put it through when it's soft, sometimes it changes the shape of the bead. It will, squish it a little bit. So if you have a really special shape, let's say you spend a lot of time making a cube and you want your bead to be square, let it cool off. Put it in the refrigerator and let it harden up and cool off for a few minutes before you put your skewer through. So I used just like a regular wooden skewer that you could use this for grilling if you have a skewer like this, or any other kind of small pointy, like a real wide needle. We may be able to include some of these in your kits. So there's a skewer, and this makes sure that you have a nice wide hole and a nice smooth hole. So this would bake right alongside the little impression that you made, again 275 degrees for about 15 minutes. So when they come out of the oven, you want to let them cool, of course, for a few minutes, and then they'll be nice and firm. And this one I did with a plant that didn't have a lot of depth to it, so it's a very shallow impression there. And so another thing you could do, and this is something you'd have to supply your own paint, but if you have a little bit of acrylic paint at home, and I'm just going to use my finger, you can rub a little paint right into the impression that you made. And I'm going to just rub it right on there, and then very quickly wipe it off with a paper towel or a napkin or something. And this gives just a little more definition to the impression that you made. It really helps it show up. So let's say if I wanted to make this one just a little bit more obvious, you could rub a little black acrylic paint into there, or white, whichever. Red would look cool too. So if you want to do that, just as I said, just really quick, swirl around a little acrylic paint and then wipe it off, and you really see that impression on there. So now let me show you how to string it. One knot that I really like to use is called the lark's head knot. And this way you don't need a jump ring or anything to get that to hang nicely around your neck. So what you do is you take your string that you're going to be using, fold it in half so you have a loop at the end. And then you put that loop through the hole. And this is why it's nice to have that big hole like we used the straw for. So put that through and then pull the two tails through that loop. And when you pull tight, you'll have a nice lark's head knot. And there you go. So we'll also have, this is a marbled bead I made yesterday that kind of matches. I put a little knot there, so just take both strings, and if you want to tie a square knot right there, you can even tie more than one. Depending on the size of your hole, it may go right over the knot. They are pretty big holes. So I'm going to put the thread through the bead, and there you go. You probably want to put one more knot. Let's do that, just so it'll be even, and this way the bead will stay down. And you can either use it as a necklace, and if you want to put essentials oils on it and make it a diffuser necklace, that's a nice way to go. The other thing you could do, as I said, is you would still need the string, and then just tie it right onto this loop in the backpack clip. This swivel clip. So let's put it through and see how that would look. And so you could just let it dangle from your backpack or a zipper pull or whatever you like. So that's another way to go with that. And you could tie it right on there. So that's our craft for today, this Wednesday. These materials will be available starting today, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the adult garden. Again, if you want to arrange for curbside pickup, we can do that. Give us a call at 82009, and we'll arrange for curbside pickup. And they will be available as long as supplies last. So if you're in a hurry to get here, come on down and we'll have everything ready for you. So also remember, if you have any questions about how to do this video, just rewatch it on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you at the library. Bye.